Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Bring It Back. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that were canceled and or short-lived that I'd like to see get brought back in some shape or form. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Fox series Prodigal Son. Really quickly, if you're unaware what Prodigal Son is, basically it's a crime drama, kind of like a psychological thriller where you follow Malcolm Bright, who is this criminal psychologist who worked with the FBI, but now he works with the NYPD to help them, solve killers and serial killer cases because he's very good at getting inside of killers' minds. He actually works from time to time with his dad, Martin Whitley, who's locked up in a facility because his dad is a well-known serial killer known as the Surgeon. And so this psychological angle to it is this complicated thing of Malcolm working with his dad, which he has a very complicated relationship with, because it's like, oh, not only is he a serial killer, Malcolm's the reason why his dad got arrested in the first place. So that, plus the effects this has on his family, which includes his mom Jessica, his sister Ainsley, and obviously this whole thing of, wanting to not be like his dad, being so good at understanding serial killers, being the only person in the world who understands his father like no one else. It causes a lot of issues, and Malcolm isn't, as I've said and described him on multiple occasions, as a not well-adjusted human being, is what I've always say to describe him. But it's such a fascinating story of just like that dynamic of what that means and what kind of issues it arises in Malcolm, and just the relationship and dynamic he has with his father, but as well as the other characters, including his family, but also like Gil, Danny, and JT, the officers he works with, even like Adrisa, the ME. But it's a really cool show. It's a really interesting show. It tells a very compelling story, and just how complicated Malcolm's mind is, and a lot of times, and how that can get the best of him a lot of times. So obviously, because I'm including the show was canceled. It was actually recently canceled. I believe it was like maybe a week or two ago, maybe. But I obviously officially found out today at the time of me recording this. It's May 19th is when I found out. The series finale, well, season 2 finale, pseudo series finale aired yesterday. So I hope the show comes back. I know the creators have talked about, there's articles out there where they talked about hopefully being able to continue the show, because obviously they don't think this is the end yet. They're exploring all possibilities. They want to hopefully find a platform for the show to continue on. I've suggested, in my review, I talked about maybe a Netflix or a Prime Video, specifically a Netflix, simply because Lucifer was on Fox before it got canceled and then ended up on Netflix. So I feel like Prodigal Son could really do well on Netflix in that regard, because I'd love to see the show continue, especially where things left off. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, because if you haven't seen or aren't caught up with Prodigal Son, you can watch, I believe both seasons are on Hulu. I know obviously all of the most recent season I believe is on Hulu, but it's a great show that I would love to see continue, because I'd love to see what they do with the third season, especially with that season 2 finale. I threw out my own thoughts and theories about what that could necessarily look like. So once again, still having my fingers crossed. Once again, it's still early days. Like I said, the season finale literally aired yesterday, so this is still at the time we were recording, it's still in motion. So this bit, like I said, it's May 19th now, and this might go up Friday, which will be the 21st. So things could change in that time frame, maybe not. It's just something I'm going to keep a lookout for. I do want it to, I don't want it to be a thing of finish up in a movie. It's no, there's still so much story to tell, because there's still a lot of stuff that's been dealt with, but you can definitely feel there's certain storylines, specifically stuff about Ainsley. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. I definitely can see that being, it's resolved to a certain extent, but I can definitely see that being something that could play out more in the story, especially the aftermath of season 2's finale. If the show can finish in the 3rd season, that once again, I always want a show to keep going as long as the creators want to keep it going. So if they decide we'll bring it back for a 3rd and final season, I guess certain elements of it you could finish in a 3rd season, but I feel like there's still quite a bit of story you can unravel and tell. So I feel like there's still more to go. So I feel like if they want to go down I wouldn't be shocked if it was a 4 and 5, or maybe just a 3 and 4, but whatever the case may be, I want the show to continue as long as it takes for the creators to tell the story story they want to tell. So if they can do it in 3 seasons, cool. If they can do it in 4 seasons or 5, I'm fine with that too. So once again, it's still a developing situation, so I'll keep an eye out. But once again, I still have my fingers crossed, hoping that we do get a new season, and once again, the show continues. Like I said, I would think Netflix would be a great place, but you know, we'll see. Like I said, there are other options. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.